Hello there. Tonight we're going to make a BARGELLO card. Isn't that cool looking? There's so many different ways you can make BARGELLO cards. So this is how I made this. I'm going to do tonight, but I'm going to do this piece instead. So it's a little bit, it's similar, but it's a little bit different. But it's going to be made the same exact way. So what you need is a strip of background paper that you've made out of strips. And I really like the contrast of the black. So I purposely put the black in between to make BARGELLO cards because they're just so cool looking. All right, and we're going to start out with a card front, which we're going to cut down to 4 by 5 1/4. All right. And we may have to cut it down a little bit more, but that's okay. But you definitely want to start out with that because that'll fit on your card front. Whoops, and I've got another one of these funky size cards. All right, so I'm going to do this even thinner then because my cards, these were weird shaped cards. All right, this is 4 inches. That's right, because somebody gave me a stack of cards that were 4 inches. So instead of 4 inches here, I've got to take this down another 1/4 inch. So it's going to be 3 3/4. All right. But if you're using a regular A2 size card, that's going to be 4 1/2 by 5, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. All right. So now this will layer on here just fine. All right. So that's what we're going to use. We're going to start out with, we've got our card front. We've got this piece, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut this in strips at 1/4 inch. So, oh, where did my little card go? I'm going to have to just grab another one, I guess. All right. Actually, I can use this. All right. So what I like to do is this. I like to take it and put it on. Will that be big enough? This will work. Because I want to cut this in pieces. I better do a skinnier one. This one will work. All right. So I'm just going to line this piece up. And I just wanted it wide enough to fit within the 5 inch mark with this up against the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and I'm going to put it here. And I'm going to tape these two together with some washi tape so that I can take it apart easier. All right, there. And the reason why I'm doing that is because now I can measure this a lot easier and cut this at 1/4 inch because I'm going to do this whole entire thing in slices of 1/4 inch. All right, and I'm going to try to keep it even or in order. So let me move this out of my way. All right, get organized here. Okay, so this is lined up against the edge. This is at 4 1/4. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start pushing this over. So I'm going to push it over to 4 inches. And by doing this, I'm going to get even 1/4 inch. It's a lot easier to do the entire thing, even at the little tiny part here that's left. And you'll see what I mean in just a moment. So we're going to go ahead and cut this. Okay, there's one slip. And then we're going to go down to 3 3/4 inch. Whoops. Come on. 3 3/4. There. And then 3 1/2. Okay, and line that up. And then 3 1/4. And then 3. And then 2 3/4. So this extra piece is just helping me to cut this entire width of this card or this layer with even 1/4 inch pieces. So then down to 2 1/2 inches. And then 2 1/4 inches. And then 2 inches. And then you can see I've just got a little, we've got 1/2 inch left. So this allows me to go ahead and do that extra 1/4 inch cut. So I'm going to move it over to 1 3/4. And then we still have this one little piece left. That's 1/4 inch. And that's why if you have a piece of paper, cardstock, to adhere to it, it's so much easier to maneuver it across because you can use this as your measuring point here. All right, so I'm going to put this over here so I can use that again at another time. These are all in order. So now we're going to go ahead and start lining these up. What we're going to do is, where's my glue stick? I put it over here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn this sideways because I'm going to work sideways. Move these over a little bit tighter, and I'm going to take the first one and I'm going to lay it down on here, and I'm going to get some glue on there. And I'm going to start up in the corner and just line it up right against the edge, all the way down, and then put the extra glue on it. And we've got the first piece glued down. Okay, the second one, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do all but the last little piece. And I'll show you what I mean. Or the top little piece, I should say. So we're going to glue this down, but we're going to take it and I'm going to line this purple up with this black piece. So I'm going to play with the black pieces. All right, so I'm going to line it up like that, there. And then I'm going to take the next one and I'm going to line it up with this color on top of this, on the bottom of this black one. And if you look, if you do it on the top or the bottom every single time, so the bottom of the black, so it's going to go right here. So this one will go here, and it's going up off the paper, and that's okay. So we want to go ahead and get this glued on, pull this on. All right, and then we're going to line this up at the bottom of the black, and I'll show you in just a moment what I'm talking about. All right, so see how I'm lining it up? So I put the first strip down, and I'm using the black as my guide, the black strips that are going across. So I'm going to go up one color to the bottom of the black, and I line the next one up, and it's hanging off a little bit. Then I'm going to line the next one up at the bottom of this black, and it's hanging off a little. The next one's going to go right here, and it's going to hang out off a little. So we're just going to keep going. And I like to do like 3 or 4 and then maneuver them up and down, laying them out in different ways. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one on top of the black, lining this up next to it. All right. So, and what I mean about maneuvering up and down is, see how they're going up and down? And they're making little mountains. That's what I mean. So I've got 4 rows. So now I'm going to start going down one again. So I'm going to go ahead and, whoops. So now I'm going to come down using this black one. And so I'm going to line it up at the bottom of this black one, and I'll pick it up and show you what I'm talking about in just a moment. All right, so see what I did? So now this one I'm coming down. So now I'm going to look at this black line and line it up with the bottom of this, and it should match this one. Okay, then the next one I'm going to put on, and we're going to move down to the next black line. So this one will go right here, and that should line up with this one. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and glue this one on. And I'm just using my black line, the black rows, so that I can help to position the same way each time, because it looks so uniform, and that's what you want, is you want it to look nice and uniform. All right, and then we're going to go down one more, and that one should be down to the bottom. Alrighty. Perfect. Line that one up. And that goes all the way up to the top. Okay. Let's turn that over and give it a good back rub. All right. And then we're going to start going back up again. So So kind of starting from the beginning. Pull that off. And then we're going to go up to the bottom of this black one. Line it up because we're going back up again. All right. And then we're going up another black line. Perfect. Nice. I love the way these look. They just look so cool. And they go a lot quicker. They look like they're so involved and there's so much to do, but there really isn't much, which is nice. You just have to line them up the proper way. Okay, so we're gonna, let's see, so that's up. 1, 2, one more. Okay. And you can go up even more. I only have one left, so I think I'm gonna, do I wanna go up or come down? I think I will go ahead and come down again. Why not? All right. And as you can see, I ran out, and that's okay. Because now we're going to trim this. First, we're going to turn this over. Do it like that. All right. We're going to trim this for the width because we want just the width to show, the exact width. All righty. So we're going to line this up on here and line this up over here. And that should do it. Perfect. All right, isn't that cool? All right, so now we need another scrap. Let's see, I need a wider here. Let's use this one. Oh, they were right here, right in front of me. This is what I was looking for. It was an index before instead of that strip of paper. But that's okay, whatever. We got it now. All right, and the reason why I'm pulling this out is because I'm going to turn this over now and see all the little overhangs? I'm going to use that little overhang and create another one, another background. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put more glue on here. There. Wipe off the excess. Then I'm going to, whoops, turn this over and I'm going to connect it right up against here. I'm going to butt this paper with this paper. There. Press that down. All right. And that's what I did to this one, was the pieces that I cut off that were hanging. So see what I did? But doesn't that look cool? Because you just have a little bit up on the top. This one's going to be full, but this one's going to be just a little bit on the top. And I just think that looks so neat looking. All right, so now we can go ahead and cut it right down the center there. And then we can make 2 cards. And they look a little different just because the way that they're laid out. All right, so there's the one, and here's the second one. And I want to trim that top off just a wee little bit more there. And then I want to trim it here because it needs to be the same width as your rows. So we're minus a row on this one, so that's better. So that way we've got it from left over to the right. All right, very good. So now we can make 2 cards. So we've got this card that can go on here. I think that's going to be pretty. So let's get a piece of black cardstock. And let's see, I can move this back over here. Don't need that. I need, oops, aha, we can use this. Construction paper. Gotta love construction paper. Oh yes, and that's perfect. All right, but this is hanging over just a wee little bit. Let's trim that. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and where's my? I'm gonna go ahead and put some glue on the back of this. So have you ever made one of these before? Have you heard of it? If you're new, you probably haven't heard of it. If you're an oldie like me, you've heard of it. And it's funny because sometimes things look so much more difficult than they really are. This is definitely one of those things that looks so difficult and so involved, but it is as easy as making a strip background, and then cutting it apart. That's so easy. And you can maneuver it in so many different ways. All right, so let me trim this off. And I want to leave a little tight border to it right there. Ooh, perfect. All right, then this. Trim that down. Very good. Then we can turn this over, get some glue on it. And this is going to go on the card front. And then you can just leave it plain, or you can decorate it further once you get it on the card. I like to do this to show it off. If you've got some real pretty papers that you love, then show them off. And I think I'm going to put this over here to the side, like so, and then turn it over rather than putting it right down the middle. I'm trying to think. I don't think I have any verses that go up and down. If you had a verse that goes from the top to the bottom, that would be perfect to stamp on here. I'll have to, if I want to do that, then I'll have to either do it sideways or use my alphabets and put something on there. But there's this card. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull another card out. And this, yeah, that's a regular size. Good. All right, so now we just have to put that background on there. That's so cute. Actually, do I want to, that's real little. I'm wondering if I want to just make this into a tag of some kind instead of an actual card. Let's do that. Let's do this maybe 3 inches. How wide is this? 2.5? Let's do it 2.5 by 3.5. We'll do it trading card size. There. That's a good idea. And then we can do this. Oops, I'm just going to glue it on because it's easier. All right, we're not going to do that. We are going to do this instead. All right, so let's get some more glue. They come out so pretty. And it's amazing because depending on what colors you use, they look so different. And instead of the black strip going through, imagine if you did a gold strip going through. If you've got some gold ribbon you could put on there, you could use that up. Or some silver. That would be so pretty. All right, now let's turn this down. There and there. That's nice. All right. Garbage, black scraps. White scraps up there. All right, and this is the leftover piece that I had left over. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that up there. That'll be pretty. Why not? All right, so that way the inside matches the outside. And I'm using this little scrap up. Whoops. So I'm not saving it for something else. Nice. All right. So now we have a trading card, an art trading card, 2.5 by 3.5, and we've got a card. I love it. All right, let me turn these over so you can actually see the whole card. There you go. That's better. All right, so now we just need to finish decorating these. So how are we going to do that? Let's see. I'm trying to think of what I want to put over on this side. Do I want words on it? See, and I'm thinking if I did words like right here. Let me look in here. What do we have in here? Got black and white ones. Yeah, always be joyful. Oh, these ones Sue Holland printed out for me. Always be joyful. Okay, give thanks to the Lord. Ooh, there's a bigger one. Always be joyful. Hold on to hope. Ooh, I think I like that one better because it's long and thin. All right, I'm going to use that one. All righty, wishing you a day filled with good things. That's pretty. Always be joyful. He will be our peace. Ooh, I like that one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use these. Why not? Alrighty, and this will make my life easy because I just have to pull out this punch now. And I just need some black cardstock, which I have. Oh, I've got this black paper. Okay, that'll work. What is that? Oh, that's shiny paper. Oh, I've already done it on this one. Okay, let's do that. Because what I'm going to do is this. Actually, I need 2 sets, so I may as well go ahead and make 2. I'm going to lay this on there. And I'm just going to make a halo to go around. So I'm going to do it like so. So we've got 2 halos. And then we can turn it over on this side. And do another set of halos for the other side. All right, that can go back in the black scraps. This can go back. Alrighty, and now what I'm talking about, the halos, is this. We're going to take these and we're going to lay them down on either side of those. Isn't that pretty? So let's go ahead and get some glue on either side of this. And line that up so there's a nice thin little border. That's perfect. All right, nice. And that gives us, isn't that pretty? Just that little teeny bit. And that just shows it off. And that makes it pop right out. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Same thing. Sue, I really appreciate you stamping these out for me. I know you say you have a hard time stamping things, but I really appreciate you doing it for me, because sometimes mine come out fine and sometimes they don't. So it depends on what day it is, to tell you the truth. So I feel your pain. I definitely feel your pain. But you know, we're still able to do stuff, and that's nice. All right, there. Perfect. And we have 2 little sharp bits here that I want to trim off. There. That's pretty. Isn't that nice? All right, but I want to fix this letter P, because the bottom of the P, well, I guess I could fill that one in too. There, that works better. This is what always seems to happen to me. I stamp it down, and then I've always got something a little extra that just didn't stamp right. So it's nice to see that it's not just me. All right, that's pretty. Now I'm going to go ahead and 3D that. I think that'll be nice, and I think I'll 3D this one. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to do it at the top and the bottom, because I want to make sure that those 2 sides stay on. And then we'll put a nice chunk in the middle. There. There we go. And then this can go on here. That is so pretty. I love it. All right, and then this, I want to do the same thing just to make sure those 2 edges stay on. I really need to clean these scissors. That's okay. Perfect. All right, leave those out so I can clean those off. Put that away and put this away. Nice. There. I like those. That's nice. All right, so now maybe a little bit of bling. These ones I didn't put the bling on, but that's okay. I'm thinking I want it on this. And I know I've got some black, but that might be fun to pull out a color instead. Let's see, what do I have? Ooh, that bright pink. That's pretty. Let's do that. Why not? And this has got some green in there. So, but let's do this one first. Let's see. How about some down here? That'll be pretty. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and boy, did I go crooked. All right, that's better. That's nice. I like that. All right, and I'm thinking maybe along the bottom there, and I want that greenish color. So light green, light or dark. Nope, this light. All right. And I'm thinking maybe a row of 3 there. That'll be pretty. And I think I'll use the medium size. Oh, here, we can put them right here. That's cute. Maybe I'll do 2 more up there. That's pretty. Ooh, I like that. All right, very nice. So, a nice finish. So now I have a trading card that I can make into a card. I like having these on hand so I can use them as a quick card and just throw them on. All right, so let me bring these up and show you. Here's the card that we made. Isn't that pretty? And the inside. And then the trading card. So I hope you like this idea and you'll give it a try. Pull out those backgrounds you've been making, or when you're making your backgrounds, remember to add one color. Choose a color. And this was actually quilling strips that I have, the black quilling strips. They're the perfect size. And I just put them in between. And as you can see, my strips were not, I mean, you can see on the inside, they're not all the same size. They're all different sizes. So you can see the width of them. This one's quite wide, and this one's thinner, and this one's even thinner. So it just depends on what size strips you have. So I literally did grab just whatever strips I had in my container and then just lined them up on the card with the black strips in between, and this is how pretty it comes out. So I hope you like this idea and you'll give it a try. And until we meet again, happy crafting. Bye-bye.